After losing their previous writer, the filmmakers behind the Rey Palpatine Star Wars movie has finally found a fourth writer to take on writing the screenplay. But will this one last? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. Ever since Kathleen Kennedy announced the Rey Palpatine spin-off Star Wars film, Disney has kind of gone through several disruptions and are trying to focus more on positive content, good content, because they have realized that the Star Wars brand has greatly suffered under Kathleen Kennedy's rule. No surprise there, but her sort of white whale that Kathleen Kennedy has pursued is this Rey Palpatine movie. It is one that she has had her eye on. Supposedly, it is based on an unused script called New Jedi Order. There's even rumors that that's the name of the film, Star Wars New Jedi Order, where, of course, the amazing Wonder Ray, who's the bestest ever, is going to restore the Jedi Order without any straight white males, of course. The film consistently hits snags in trying to recruit a screenwriter. They've gone through three, and they finally have recruited a fourth. So this is according to piratesandprincesses.net. It has been announced that Lucasfilm has hired yet another new writer for the upcoming Rey trilogy that never leaves production limbo. George Nolfi, known for Ocean's 12 and The Bourne Ultimatum, has been hired to write the new Daisy Ridley-led film. Oh, so they want it to be boring. Good to know. Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson were the first writers attached to the Rey films, but according to Lindelof, he was asked to leave the project. He later joked the picketing during the strikes was more fun than writing for Star Wars. After these two came Stephen Knight of Peaky Blinders, who worked on the project until last October when he, too, was removed. Then came Simon Kinberg, who was announced last November. He was supposedly writing the script with Kathleen Kennedy, and now he must either be gone, as it's been reported that George Nolfi is writing it, or he is working on something else for Lucasfilm. What's going on here? Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy is still somehow the director of this train wreck, and fans are flat out wondering if these films will ever happen. The new trilogy was said to take place 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker, better known as Rise of Palpatine, with Rey now training new Jedi the way Luke Skywalker was supposed to do, yet somehow I'm sure she won't suddenly try to kill her nephew or act like a hermit, but I digress. Lucasfilm has a history of announcing creators or films and then removing them. This incident is just one in the long line of announced creators or films for Lucasfilm's Star Wars that suddenly disappear. So far, this has reportedly happened to Michael Arndt, Gary Whitta, Gareth Edwards, Phil Lord, and Chris Miller, Colin Trevorrow, Josh Trank, James Mangold, Stephen Daldry, David Benioff, and D.B. Weiss, Stephen Schiff, J.D. Dillard, and Matt Owens, Stuart Betty, Hossein Amini, Damon Lindelof, Justin Brett Gibson, Stephen Knight, Simon Kinberg, Kevin Feige, Michael Wardrum, and possibly Patty Jenkins. They need to stop announcing things if they aren't going to follow through. Creative differences shouldn't account for this many creators being removed. It is more likely Kathleen Kennedy or someone else at Lucasfilm who is causing all the trouble in the first place. As of now, only The Mandalorian and Grogu have been confirmed to be released in theaters in May 2026, after there have been no Star Wars films since 2019. Okay, real talk for a second. Star Wars is a dying brand. If not, it's dead already. They showed some initial promise with The Force Awakens, and I know that's controversial to say because the two sequels to it are awful, but then they kind of won fans back with Rogue One and the first two seasons of The Mandalorian, only for them to just chuck all that out the window by making Obi-Wan into this sad, pathetic, sad sack who just wanders the desert and has to get bossed around by a spoiled little brat. They did Andor, which was actually pretty good. They did Star Wars Vision Season 1, which was actually pretty good, but then no one watched those because of Obi-Wan, because of The Acolyte, and Vision Season 2. Where does Star Wars go from here? If I were them, after this Mandalorian and Grogu film, depending on how it performs at the box office, they should just shut it down. Disney should just go quiet for at least 5 years, build up the anticipation, let people revisit Andor, The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, Star Wars Vision season 1, and go from there. Let them see Rogue One, really double down on those very popular shows, but they're not going to do that. Here's what's going to happen. The Mandalorian and Grogu will do a decent performance at the box office because, like I said, at least the first 2 seasons still earn some goodwill, even with the Book of Boba Fett underperforming and season 3 being rejected by the fans after what happened to Gina Carano. It'll still do good, I think, but Disney won't learn any new lessons from it. They're just going to double down on Kathleen Kennedy and they're going to keep moving forward. I always hear rumors that Kathleen Kennedy is going to get the boot. She's going to be gone. She's finally been fired. I even reported on some of those rumors, but it seems to me that for whatever reason, maybe she has blackmail material. Bob Iger does not want to let her go. It seems like it's because she was handpicked, right? And they thought they had the green light with the success of the sequel trilogy and even with the success of Rogue One. But then that petered out with Solo, a Star Wars story. And they really haven't done anything theatrical wise. They've focused too much on Disney Plus to the detriment of the Star Wars universe. And like I said, Bob Iger, he seemed to have handpicked Kathleen Kennedy. On paper, she seemed to be correct. She had worked with George Lucas through Steven Spielberg's production company, where they had met and had worked together. And Spielberg didn't really seem to like her. People found that out kind of after the fact. He made some really snarky comments about her. All that to say, I just think that Disney just needs to let Star Wars take a break. They need to let it breathe after The Mandalorian and Grogu, but they're going to follow what Hollywood always does and learn all the wrong lessons from its success. As a result of that, we're going to get even more identity politics shoved into stories about the Jedi instead of, fantasy. Star Wars has always been a science fiction fantasy blend, but they want to try to shove current era issues into the stories. We saw this with The Acolyte, which was an abject failure. The Skeleton Crew, I'm kind of slowly getting into that one, but it hasn't been as enjoyable knowing that the other stuff exists. That's just my own personal take on it. What do you think? Are you excited about the Rey Palpatine movie? Do you think it's going to be good? Or do you think that I'm overreacting? Do you think Disney needs to take a break? Whatever the case may be, no one can deny that Disney has totally mismanaged Star Wars, and that's not even including all the other stuff they got from 20th Century Fox. That's not even including how Marvel has been handled recently. It's all been mismanaged, and they're going to have to wake up to the fact that times are changing. Audiences aren't just going to go for a brand anymore. They want good, solid entertainment. Sadly, Star Wars has not provided that. If you like that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, just a reminder to ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you're feeling extra spicy, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where you can sign up for free and there are no ads. I post reviews, commentary, news, and so much more, covering a wide range of topics, including film, television, anime, comic books, and so much more. And like I said, it's totally free. All you have to do is sign up with your email or on the WordPress app. If you want to support the work that I do, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. I post exclusive articles there just for my locals community. You can sign up through a monthly subscription, or you can send my articles tips. I really appreciate it. And best of all, you get to read my short stories, which I post there. Speaking of stories, I have published 4, count them, 4 novels. I've got Cacophony, A Tale of Faith and Fear. It is a supernatural thriller about a group of demons that want to take over a small town in Texas, but angels are sent to stop them. I also have my sword and sorcery series, The Seven Royals. Book 1 is All Good Things. Book 2 is Breaking the Stars. It follows a group of your favorite fairy tale characters who have to come together to stop a dark army from conquering their land. And best of all, Book 3 is on its way. I'm going to have an announcement about that very soon. Last but certainly not least, I have my latest fantasy romance novella, Blessed Child. It follows an elf princess who discovers she is pregnant with a human child, and this sends the elven kingdom into chaos. Her father, the king of the elves, hires a knight to protect her, and this knight, he's disgraced, but he's on the path of redemption. The two of them form an unlikely friendship, and they come together amidst all of the turmoil going on around them. You definitely won't want to miss it. Pick up this one or all four at Amazon.com and leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.